getting hit multiple times coming out of that bike section. More drivers coming to blows.
Located in the heart of NASCAR country, Charlotte Motor Speedway is known for its fast, steeply banked trioval configuration that is home of the longest race of the NASCAR season, but also hosts sports car racing on the hybrid oval infield circuit, lovingly named the Roval. The latest configuration is a 17-turn, 2.5-mile test of car control, curb hopping, and late braking, as the passing areas are few and far between. So who comes out on top today as we continue our summer series with round 8 featuring the MX5s? We'll find out in just a little while as our weekend warriors take to the grid here at the Roval. Thank you so much for watching. Welcome in. My name is Charles Boshell. Alongside me, doing double duty as usual, Josh Wilkie as co-commentator and the production runner, keeping everything under control. Josh, welcome into the show today, and we get back to our MX5s again here for round 8, and we're on I think we've actually came here one time in this newest configuration late in the season for Spec Racer, maybe a couple seasons ago, but really haven't been here a lot. So obviously it's going to be fairly new to some of our drivers today, this new 2025 configuration.
Yeah, absolutely. Fairly new to me as well, Charles. I've got a bit of experience around here, but not on the new layout at all. And I hear there is some kind of new things to deal with, namely being, I believe, the chicane is quite a bit different around here now. And that's going to cause a lot of our drivers some grief, I think. This is not an easy prospect of a track on a good day, Charles. And with a little bit of a change out there and a bunch of MX5s, we got about 30-something MX5s in here. That's going to be quite the day, I think. So, again, this is not an easy place to race around. There is places to pass. It's a difficult track. Lots of pitfalls. I think we're in for a show today for sure.
Yeah, absolutely think so. As we are in qualifying, Andrew Moran currently sitting on pole there with a 135.739. You see the first of our 2 chicanes that will be introduced today here as we are underway in qualifying, riding along with Dirk Braun. Wants to give a quick shout to the race sponsor today, Big Bird himself, Phil Berry. Thank you very much, Phil, for the sponsorship. We really appreciate it, as he will be out there doing battle, is already on the grid, out creating some, trying to get his laps. It is a battle at the front between Moran and Schramm. Currently, the gap is very, very tight, actually, between them and Jason Green as well. 600 seconds separating the top 3 as we're riding along. And here is the aforementioned Phil Berry as we work our way down into that final chicane. So we'll get a good look at that. As you see, lots of curb need to be taken there to get a fast line through. And Phil is going to complete his final lap, I believe, there as we are. I'm sorry, are we? Gotta reset myself there. This is the V and MX5 qualifying and race format. So 4 laps of qualifying today, over 15 minutes, and then a 30-minute sprint race. No pitting should be needed. So as you can see, Phil taking a lot of that curve there. He's wearing some Air Force colors here. So nice looking car there in the MX5. As we're seeing some rivets there and maybe a few bullet holes in the back. So we'll have to keep an eye on Phil's aero today. As we do want to mention that there is a little bit of a change as we're looking at the track map here as we're working our way through. The oval section in particular, there is no standing rule in iRacing about running below the white line, blue line there on the oval section. That is open and fair game. As you see there, you see the blue and white marked line down at the bottom. That's open and fair game in iRacing. However, it is a league rule. So as we ride on here with Guido Marzucchi, no driving below the yellow line. It will be penalized heavily if anybody is caught running the apron down there on the back stretch. So that is something we'll have to keep an eye on as qualifying continues here. A little over halfway done as Guido looks like he has finished his lap, currently sitting in P8. So things that we'll have to keep an eye on today, Josh. Obviously, we're not stewarding. But I think we'll know it when we see it when that situation occurs.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, somebody always tries to go down below the line, and officials especially all the time. It's a little bit frustrating, to be honest. Kind of a silly rule, if you ask me. It just feels like cheating every single time, even if it's not. It just doesn't feel right. But maybe somebody will go down there. Maybe they won't today. I guess we'll see. It is a league rule, like you said, so hopefully they're paying attention there and they won't go down there. Yeah. Maybe we'll try to stay on board here. Nope, he's actually going to slow down and abort this lap. Going to be done for that one. See if we can't pick somebody up here on a quick lap. And there's the 99 having some fun into the wall. And that's just something obviously we like to do here at the Weekend Warriors. Have some fun. You can see now everybody just sort of on their cool down at the moment here. The 980 getting biked it. He biked it big time there off that curb. That's going to be something we're probably going to see a few times. You're just kind of begging to try to get a pass done through there a lot of the time, and it's very rarely a good idea unless maybe it's the very final lap of the race and you're really trying to win it. Otherwise, you're going to be so slow through there, or again, you end up getting kind of pushed into a curb. It's just not an easy prospect around here to get a pass done at all.
Yeah, it's really not. Those chicanes are pretty gnarly, as you see the drivers testing how much curb they can get away with without launching the car in the air. You see a really wide run out of that corner to go down into the following corner there. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 and 5 there, as you see now. Used to be a little cut through there where you make a hard right, maybe make a couple more corners there in the middle of the infield. That's gone in this configuration. You just have that very hard hairpin that brings you off the infield onto the oval section itself. We will see people get that wrong over the course of this race today, as it's a very difficult corner to get right. It is a premium passing zone as well, so you will see cars making that move to the inside, trying to late brake and get an advantage where they can maybe push wide and hold a car up on the outside. But that is something we'll keep an eye on during the course of the race. But let's take a look while we've got a couple of minutes at our championship points battle here after our 7th round last week, and we will bring those up and have a look and see where all of our drivers stand in the championship here as we continue on. Still a couple of cars out there.
There you go.
But most of them are gone. Nate Schramm currently leading here in Spec 1, 621 points, 40 ahead of Tortello, running in second. Tillo 50 points ahead of Adrian Borowski, running in third. 5 points the gap back to Jason Green. Josh Justice in fifth. Andrew Moran 6th. Dirk Braun 7th. Jason Chin 8th. Guido Marzouki in 9th. Alexander Gorson rounding out your top 10 in points in Spec 1. Josh, what about Spec 2?
Yeah, over on the Spec 2 sheet here, I believe we have some pretty close racing there as well. Steven Saunders at the top of the board with 332, 321. You'll find Paul Jackson, then Jason Grider in third with 307. Phil Berry, today's race sponsor, with 281. Just behind him, Daniel Wood with 272. Adam Bradshaw in 6th. Dustin Diaz 7th. Michelle Lynn is in 8th. Steve Pepper in 9th. And Marcel Grossen in 10th with 199. So we're real close there in the S2 category. And then, of course, Charles, over to Masters, we're going to find Rich Meesters at the top with 448. 385 for Jim Brewster. Tom Gradwell in third. Jeff Wubker in fourth with 338. That is Stevie Ray, Steve Sr. there, in fifth at 319. Sixth place, Alan Degassis. Seventh, Nick Tello. Eighth, Wayne Buttermore. Ninth, Adam Bradshaw. And 10th, Paul Koradeshi. And pretty close stuff there in Masters as well. And I think, Charles, we can even have a look at our overall standings. I'll let you grab those.
Yeah, absolutely. Overall, you see Nate Schramm over Tortello, first and second, that 40-point gap. Adrian Borowski, Jason Green, third and fourth. Josh Justice in fifth. Masters leader Rich Meesters there running in sixth. Andrew Moran in seventh. Masters second place. Jim Brewster in eighth. Masters as well in ninth for Tom Gradwell, and then Dirk Braun rounds out your top 10. Closest of our Spec 2 drivers, trying to take a look there, is Steven Saunders in P12. So that is our high water mark there for the Spec 2 category, as we still have about a minute and a half left here in qualifying, as we do see a couple cars still out there making some laps. That is Jason Chin out there coming off the infield, up through the hairpin and back onto the oval, as he is going to hug that blue line, and that is the preferred line. It's the fastest way around. That is why also that we've added the rule that nobody can go down below. But I think that might be a pretty good rule to have, as simply because we have seen cars kind of try and cheat a little bit, or maybe stretch the rules there and then get one of those cones caught in the front, and then you're dragging a cone around for a couple of laps, and that does not help your lap times in the least. So probably a blessing more than a curse of having to stay above that blue line.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think it kind of throws a wrench in the gears, if you ask me. You see somebody below the line, you're able to go wider than you should be able to on the track. There's a bit of a transition between the line and the track in a bunch of spots too, where you're going from basically flat track to very high concave track, or a banked wall, I guess you could call it.
Yep.
And that really can unsettle the car. And I've seen people kind of play silly bugger down there and then try to come back up over the line and then lose it and take out 5 cars, while they're trying to think they're being clever by going below that line. So I really like that they've put that in place here. I think going below the line is just silly. It should never be a thing. It's ridiculous, actually, that they allow people below that line, if you ask me. It's just, there's no sense to it whatsoever. So I'm really glad that they did this. But we are about to get a race start here, so maybe we'll get our grid going. Got quite a few cars to get through today on a packed grid here for the Summer Series.
Absolutely. Let's get this thing rolling. We'll pass it off to you in a minute, Josh. Adrian Borowski is going to start on pole position, 135.682, just nipping Andrew Moran there in the late stages of qualifying. He will start second. Nate Schramm will start in P3. Jason Green starts in fourth. Kane Lasky will start in P5. James Ellis, Spec 2 driver, starting in P6. Will Cool Camel Racing. Dirt Braun will start in P7. Guido Marzuki starting in 8th. Portolo in 9th. Rich Meesters will start in P10, and that's our Masters pole sitter. James Pepper starting in 11th. And Angel Soto there starting in 12th. Joaquin Osbeck starts in 13th. 14th is going to be Jim Brewster, followed by Tom Gradwell. Jason Chin will start in 16th, and Josh will start with you there on P17.
And today's race sponsor, the 888, Phil Berry in 17th, Joshua Justice in 18th, 19th will be Jeff Webker, 20th, Andrew Love, Kurt Nunez will be in 21st, Jason Grider in 22nd, Brad Cathcart in 23rd, Steve Saunders in 24th place. If I can get the grid to move, there we are. Adam Bradshaw in 25th, Stevie Ray will be in 26th place, Paul Koredeshi in 27th, 28th, Steve Pepper, 29th will be Paul Jackson, 30th will be Nick Tullo, and 31st, rounding out our field today of 31 drivers, will be Wayne Buttermore.
Yeah, so 31 car grid, another 30 plus grid this season. I think there's been at least 30 cars in every race we've had for the season. So another great crowd out here today as we get things rolling here off the line. Borowski in the 13 is going to be our pole sitter. He's going to lead this field around with Morant on the outside. So our heavy hitters, the guys that are up there in the points, are doing exactly what they need to do and getting a good qualifying position, getting up toward the front. So they'll be doing battle here. Again, this being a sprint race today, I don't expect to see any fuel saving going on. I expect this to be pretty flat out racing from start to finish here as the cars are rolling. As I'm hearing a little chatter there from our drivers as we're getting things warmed up here. And it's going to be 30 minutes of racing here, about a minute 35 again as your lap time. So just to let you know, the penalty for cutting below the blue line is a 1 minute penalty. So basically it's going to cost you a lap if you get caught. So it's probably not worth it as well, but we will see. So Josh, once again, we'll go to you as one of our weekend warrior drivers. What are we looking for here when we get started?
Yeah, I think especially at Charlotte, and I always sort of try to take the same mindset going into these, especially when there's such a huge group of cars. Maybe some people out there that aren't used to it and just showing up for some fun today in the MX5, there is going to be some positions to grab right off the bat. But if you stick your nose where it shouldn't be, it's going to get whacked off, and that's not what you want to do on the first lap. So, generally what I try to like to do is just kind of take it in as much as I can, try not to sit on my hands if something shows itself to me. But at the same time, try not to be too springy on the first lap either, because, well, you'll just end up facing backwards and losing a ton of position. So finding a buddy out there is going to be something you want to do today. Getting in just a knife fight around Charlotte for 40 minutes is going to be deadly. So I would imagine you want to get out there, you want to find yourself kind of a partner, settle into a lap, and then get going. And mainly just try to survive these first couple laps here, because there's a lot of cars out there, a lot of places to make mistakes around here. Hit your marks. Don't get too excited about anything here, as Borowski now going to lead us to the line here in the purple number 13. This should be a pretty good one, I think, Ron, or Charles, sorry. With Ron a lot on these shows.
Yeah, no worries. I get all the names confused as well, so that's all good. It's all good there, Jim. So we'll get things going. We'll get things going here as we come down to our second. Coming down into the chicane, getting ready to get this race underway. 30 minutes. Yeah, you can see that banking there on these on this NASCAR section. And so it's going to feel like these guys are riding in an open top NASCAR here, at least for the first couple laps. I think once we get these things stretched out a little bit, I think we'll be in good shape. But obviously, as you said, first couple laps going to be a little tricky, especially through a couple of these tight sections in the infield. And we are green and underway. Borowski jumps out to the lead. Moran in second. Schramm follows in third with Jason Green and Kane Lasky in fourth and fifth. Guido Marzucchi already up in position, so he's had a good start to this race as we get down through turn 3 here as Make This Right-Hander still headed downhill as we work our way through 4, and we get this good run out. You see a couple of cars getting the line right. The 90 car gets a good run, looks to the inside of Guido there in the 19. And that is Tortello unable to make the move. There's the Dr. Pepper car. I saw that a couple of weeks ago. So did not see that Dr. Pepper car out there on the grid, and that is the 53 car. Or is it 53? I missed the number. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. 55, Angel Soto. That's who it was. All right.
There you are, yep.
So we're back as we're just getting started here. But you already see the front starting to stretch out a little bit, going single file. Battle here between Jim Brewster and Josh Justice as they work their way down into the chicane. A little bit of contact there between Brewster and Justice. As
lots of contact.
More contact there as I saw a car losing the rear bumper. That was, I believe, Jason Chin. Looks like it's resynced itself and is back on, but that's Jason Chin and Josh Justice making contact there. Jason Chin now with a slowdown, so we'll see how quickly that Justice realizes that and works his way around as Chin has to kind of get out of line and allow these cars to go through. He's going to drop down significantly. He's actually coming into the pit, so he has got a black flag for some reason. Not sure what that was for. I don't think it's for incident limits so fast in the beginning of this race, but you see already battle between him and the 210 car there. That is Joaquin Osbeck as they work their way out of the chicane. No contact there as they go down. You see him on the outside there. We saw the battle there between Justice and Brewster behind, and he is going to tuck down behind the 210 car as they head their way down the back straight here and into that first chicane. And we're going to get a good look here, and this may be Justice. Yep, Justice with contact, and then the front contact as well with the 210 as the 25 there makes contact a couple of times, and he is in the pits and he is back out, so his pit stop is done. Black flag has been cleared. We got a car up into the barrier.
I think that was Braun and maybe Lasky up into the wall there. I'm not sure if that was who that. Well, it was James Ellis, so I believe that was Dirk Braun. Got into the back there of James Ellis on the straightaway. Let's have a quick look at this from the. So that may have already happened here. Let's have a quick peek at this one. Yeah, that had already happened by then. We'll see if we can't roll that back a little bit here for you, but I think we're gonna get. I'm not sure if that was net code or not there, but that definitely ruined. That is done for Jason Ellis for the day there, unfortunately, in the Cool Camel machine.
Yeah, absolutely is. Well, I think he could get in and get his fast repair, but it's obviously taken him out of any kind of fight for a victory. Obviously a newcomer. I think that's the first time I've mentioned James Ellis's name this season for sure. I don't remember him being there in any other times. Kind of a good, not so good start there by Ellis as the new guy kind of gets a little bit of the business there. Then kind of looked maybe just like a bump draft gone wrong as they were trying to come down the straightaway, and it just wasn't quite lined up properly. So Ellis is coming into the pits. He's going to make his stop. We'll see how long he's in, how long he's going to take to get him back out. He did have the mechanical black flag, the meatball. So he will either be in for a minute or he will take his fast repair, and it kind of looks like he is not taking the fast repair. He is going to be stuck there for a while. As we look back again, Jason Green here running in P4. A little bit of a gap. You see the top three there, Borowski, Moran, and Schramm. Pretty much nose to tail. Green with the draft has closed that gap up, as well as Kane Lasky there in P5. So Jason now in this line, Lasky in this line. Dirk Braun is there as well. First real opening is between Angel Soto, Guido Marzucchi there, as Angel moved up into P7. over Marzuki as they come down into the second chicane. So he's going to pick up that position. Guido falling down just a little bit here in the order as we see another look here going into turn one. And you see the contact, Stevie Ray and Adam Bradshaw. Oh, and then hard contact into the wall there from Stevie as those two guys just got it kind of crossed up there going in through turn one.
Yeah, really, really easy spot to do it there. It's tight. It feels kind of rinky-dink through there a little bit, a little Mickey Mouse kind of. I like that section personally. I think some people don't. It really does kind of funnel down into what almost feels like you're entering a underground parking garage or something for a moment, and then it kind of opens back up into a nice long carousel corner and then up into this section here. But really easy to kind of get up the inside of someone, and then all of a sudden it just gets really confined and you're sort of stuck in there. And I think maybe that's kind of what happened to Adam Bradshaw as well as Stevie. They're just kind of using the same piece of track, and unfortunately going to lose out on that one. Stevie is maybe a little bit of damage for Adam Bradshaw as well, and really going to hold him up. All kinds of passing going on out there, Charles. I'll try to bring you guys as much of it as I can here. Get some replays. This one looks like it's going to be Phil Berry, our race sponsor here on James Ellis. This actually may have been from the incident that we had a little bit earlier, and he's going to get by him here. Yeah, so you can see him just kind of pulled over to the side of the track there, and that's going to be a lot of those passes were just on James Ellis because of that. Bit of a battle here with Andrew Love and I believe James Pepper as well. Maybe we'll have a quick look at this one, Charles, see how this transpired.
Yeah, as we see him coming through the chicane there, and Andrew Love behind Pepper.
That's another crash.
Andrew Love, as that's not the crash. That's just them working their way through the chicane. Are we going to get a look here as looks like we're headed back live. We're back on board now with Angel Soto, as now he has joined that top group, and so now 7 cars in that train. Nice battle there, and that's between Moran and Schramm, and Schramm's going to look to the outside there through turn 3 into turn 4. Get that move done. So move Nate Schramm up to P2. The Schrammers in the chat will be very happy as he has moved up to second position. Now the chase begins for Adrian Borowski, who has got himself about a 1.1 second gap as those two cars fought side by side, allowed that gap to open up a little bit there, and you see them working their way through a very, very tight hairpin corner, trying to carry as much speed through as they can. You see just basically grazing the wall on exit, trying to hold off as much as they, or hold on as much as they can, as we see the battle here between Braun and Green, as we are still kind of running this front line of cars, a nice 7-car group. Guido is along with Rich Meesters, as he is running in 8th. Meesters running in 9th, our highest point sitter for Masters. And now Joaquin Osbeck moves up into P10. So Osbeck, our Spec 2 leader, running in 10th position. So Osbeck with a nice battle there between him and Tortolo, who is running in 12th. And then you see the rest of the field as we work our way through. Tortolo there looking at, he is coming into the pits now. So unplanned stop for Tortolo. He is coming down and does not look like he looks like he's got some front end damage, so the car doesn't look quite healthy. So I think he's coming in, sacrificing his position to come in and get some repair work done, get back out on the track. As we see Soto now with a slowdown, and it's still there, and he is just bleeding time. That gap now 2.5 seconds back up to Braun, so he's lost at least a second and a half from where he was, and it's finally clear 2.8 the gap. Whoa. Now as we see Soto now falling back into the clutches of Guido Marzuki and Rich Meesters there running in 8th and 9th. So a nice 3-car battle is going to be shaping up there as we see Andrew Love on the outside, Jeff Wubker on the inside, and really, really deep run there, as I think maybe Love gets a little, on the curb, loses a little bit of momentum there as he's trying to get the car reset, as runs off into the grass, and that's going to give Wubker the momentum on the inside line, as we are coming up to the 10-minute mark in today's race, and now Wubker has moved up into P15, give Andrew Love 16th, and Kurt Nunez is just behind in 17th, along with Brad Cathcart. So the Masters train there starting in P15 all the way back to P18, with Jason Grider rounding out that group in Spec 2 running in 19th. So some good battles shaping up as we got another slowdown, like from the top runner, but we're going to get a replay here. This is Jason Green.
Yeah, it looks like somehow here, maybe it was a blank. Okay, so that's what's happening. A little bit of interesting stuff on my timing tower here saying that these two drivers actually got past Kane Lasky, and I'm like, how did that happen? So there it is right there, a little bit of a slippery moment there on exit, and it looks like they're actually going to chase him down to the chicane there and get by, but Kane Lasky able to hold on out front here from the pressure from Jason Green and Dirk Braun. Dirk Braun now working together a little bit with Jason Green out front, actually pushing him down the straightaways here. So they're going to try to get up front there, I think. Nathaniel Schramm now leading our race here. So yeah, we're looking pretty good out there. Some definite speed here up at the front. It's going to probably take a couple drivers to work together to see if they can't get up front with Schramm and Moran.
Yeah, absolutely. As Borowski had a slowdown, that's dropped him back into P3. As Schramm takes the lead, Moran goes through as well to pick up P2. The gap now from Borowski to Kane Lasky 1.1. So nothing doing there. That's a gap that can be closed down fairly easily, especially when if Borowski decides he wants his position back. That'll tighten things up as well. As we can get another look here. Could not quite see the reason for the slowdown there, but you see it. I think maybe a little cut there from the 13 on the inside, and just pulls out of the line, allows those two cars to go through, slides back in, and gets that slowdown cleared up, and can go back to racing here. As that is one of the detriments here at this track is there are obviously as I was about to mention the curbs there, and you see exactly why I was about to mention the curbs there, is more carnage between those cars. As we're going to get a look here, this is, I believe, Wayne Buttermore in the 971 gets loose on the curb. That was Adam Bradshaw, I believe, as well. Yep. That was involved, and another car couldn't quite catch. But obviously another three-car incident. The curbs here, Paul Jackson, thank you. So another three-car incident here involving curb management not happening for Wayne Buttermore. And I was going to mention those curbs are very, very deadly, especially in these small cars. They do not like them very much, and you can see what happens if you get it wrong. There is a way to take them, and that was unfortunately not it. As we're going to ride along with Joaquin Osbeck. Now we're switching up here. We're going to look at James Pepper as he is down on the bottom. Oh, that was very tight there between him and Paul Cordeshi, as Cordeshi taking that wide, fast line through there. Pepper trying to close that corner, couldn't quite get it done. As now we move back up to the front. Borowski has got his time back, and so he is back to the back of the top two, as Moran now giving the old bump draft here to Nate Schramm, and that works pretty well most of the time here. These cars are pretty good, pretty stable and sturdy, and will take a bump draft pretty well.
Yeah, you can see, not too many cars you're actually going to get away with that bump draft on a corner of any kind. And you're able to do it around here on the bank. You can actually push, if you got the right partner there, you can actually push someone around the banking here to gain some speed. It's definitely still a little bit dangerous to do it on the banking and not on the straightaway, but it can be done, as we've seen a couple times here. But Borowski now on the comeback tour trying to make up for that slowdown that he had. He does seem to have that raw pace out there, even with the pushing from these two cars that I guess we should mention do have a little bit of damage there on the 29 as well. So not the most aerodynamic front end on the 29. That could be causing or playing a bit of a role here. Now he's going to look up the inside, cut that angle off for Borowski in the back so he does not get tempted to go up the inside of that corner there, maybe stifle that run just a little bit there. The 29 is trying to do. So all kinds of games being played out there on a track like this, where, as you can see, these cars not the most aerodynamic. The back of them pretty much cut open. The roll cage is sticking out the back. There's a little bit of aero going on there, but mainly you're pushing a brick through the air. So you're going to have a lot of big, giant hole behind these things if you can get up behind it. And we're going to see a lot of drafting like that. So even I would say all the way back to Dirk Braun, Kane Lasky here, you still have a chance. Even back to Angel Soto, you still have a chance here. We got about 15 minutes left. Anything can happen. Drafting, pushing. This is not an easy track, so we'll see if anybody can catch up there. But I have a feeling Borowski, I think he's kind of biding his time here a little bit. He's looking for a way to get by. Maybe not necessarily get out front quite yet, but when he does, I think maybe he's got that raw pace. You can see he's just chipping away car lengths here as almost every corner he's getting a little closer and a little closer.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, to give you how these cars behave, it's for the faster cars like Indy, it is basically an arrow working its way through the air, and it is very very aerodynamic. And then the car behind, because of the disturbed air of the aerodynamics in the car in front, is able to stay close. For these, it's basically like running into the wind with an umbrella open. You're just making a big hole,
pushing it out of the way
in front of you. Yeah, in front of you, and that's allowing the cars to stay close. So those three at the front, I think, maybe working together a little bit, trying to open that gap up, because you are right. Once they start battling for position, that gap behind back to P4 closes very quickly. And yeah, I would say at this point, everybody probably in the top 10 is still eligible to move up several positions before this race is over. So this is not a done deal by any stretch of the imagination, as we are looking now at a run here. This is this is 944. This is Andrew Love, Jeff Webker just in front. See a couple cars behind. Brad Cathcart, I believe that's the 249 car, is that 243 car, I'm sorry. That's the 243 of James Ellis, who is a lap down. He's like trying to work his way through and pick up a few positions, obviously off the lead lap at this point. So he's not moving up positions. He's just kind of moving up in space as he works his way through in front of that group that contains also Jason Greider there running in P19. So Jason having a good run today as well, as looking a little racy there as he moves to the inside there. Paul Jackson gets that pass done, puts him up a spot as he gets through in front of Tortello, who is closing that gap down. Obviously, we saw Tor come in for some repair work earlier. Here is Paul Cordeshi in the 980, getting his run out of the hairpin, working their way through the trial section down into that second hairpin, chicane. And the battle still continuing on here between Guido Marzuki there in the 19. Rich Meester's able to work his way around to pick up P8. You see Soto just in front of them. So Guido running in P9, as he is, I think that's actually his position in the championship as well. So Guido not having, it's been kind of up and down for Guido this season. He's had some good races, and he's had some not so good races. So this one, I think what he would say is probably on the good side at this point, but I think still room for improvement, as we are backed up to this lead group here. Schramm still leading over Moran and over Borowski running in third. The gap now back to Dirk Braun is 2 seconds even. It's still got Kane Lasky in tow. Jason Green has fallen off that group just a bit, running in P6. And then you see Angel Soto there almost 7 seconds back. So Soto unable to keep up with the pace of these cars. And I think that kind of goes to show you that these guys aren't playing around today. They are going for it here, not having to worry about saving fuel, because we're not worried about having to come into the pits, and it's just going to be all out. And that's what our lap times are showing.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely flat out there for sure. The 13, Aaron Borowski, definitely benefiting from this draft out in front of him here. So they're basically, the 29 there pushing Nathaniel Schramm, the 29 of Andrew Moran, pushing the car of Nathaniel Schramm, and Borowski just kind of able to deal with it all. He's going to be behind that big pocket of air and just basically going to monopolize on all of that air that they're braking for him. He hasn't had to push. He hasn't really had to do much of anything yet. And he's still in the wings here, and they're slowly but surely kind of pulling away here from Dirk Braun, Kane Lasky, and Jason Green. So as long as they can kind of keep this up, they may have a kind of 3-horse race at the end here. Of course, like you're saying, Charles, all that has to happen is one tiny little they decide to try to pass each other or get side by side. That's only a 2-second gap. It will become a 1-second gap within draft range, and then we'll have a 5 or 6 car horse race on our hands here. But at the moment, Nathaniel Schramm looking pretty confident out front here, holding it together. Nice clean looking car here. We're just past halfway now, so we got about 10 minutes left. It's going to be an interesting one here at the end, whether or not the 3 cars behind can make a dent in these 3 cars, or if they're going to start battling with each other. Rest of the field fairly spread out at the moment. You can see our leaders up at the front there, or up at the top of your screen. In S1 we have Nathaniel Schramm. In Masters we have Rich Meesters, and Johan Osbeck in S2 is leading there. Been battling with Joshua Justice basically this entire race since lap 1, with Joshua Justice a little back and forth. They're obviously not in the same classes, but they are racing for position, and that is going to matter for the championship for both of them there. But up front here, still just like a metronome, kind of clicking laps off. A little bit of a damaged car in the middle, but everybody looking fairly clean. And I'm not really sure there, but it does look like maybe a bit of bungeeing happening from 4th place to 5th there. If Kane Lasky and Dirk Braun can work together, they might be able to catch up, but that's going to be a bit of a prospect. I've raced both Dirk Braun and Kane Lasky. They're not exactly the most let's work together drivers out there sometimes, so we'll see exactly how that one works out. Hopefully we don't get too many sparks flying there. Maybe Jason Green sitting back there just salivating, going, yeah, you know, these guys might be an issue for each other by the end, so I'm just going to buy my time here. But we'll see how that one plays out. They're very close together and definitely have the option here to fight, so we shall see what happens. But some close driving all over the field here.
Yeah, we will, as the race is now 2/3 of the way finished. We are in our 21st minute. You see our third group there. Angel Soto, Rich Meesters, Guido Marzucchi. And I just want to give a quick note here on the air. I just heard the rumble of thunder here. So thunderstorms in the area. So if I disappear, Josh, I'm very sorry. I think we're going to be okay through the broadcast. It might be iffy for the interviews at the end, but we'll stay obviously as much as we can. We already lost power once this weekend. I hope we don't do it again. It's just one of those summertime things here in Birmingham, Alabama. So we ride along here now with Rich Meesters. You see the 964 car coming out of and we will say while I'm talking of this, as we're watching on board here with these cars, Brad Cathcart has towed back to the pit, so we missed something there, Josh, if you want to maybe catch that. He is towed back to the pits. I think it was on the last lap, and we'll see if we can get a quick replay here. That car may have already hit the wall once by that point in time, so we're going to get another look here, as I believe that's turn 3 coming down into 4, as gets a good run there in the 905 off in the grass a little bit. No big issues there, as I work up through turn 5 and up the hill over the rise there, coming down through 6 into 7, as so far so good there as we work our way in through the hairpin. And you see Ellis there on the bottom trying to work through this traffic here as he's trying to get back toward the front of the field. Not really, once again, doing anything, but very interesting.
Pepper, perhaps? I have a crash from James Pepper here, and then Cathcart right after, so I'm expecting maybe they're going to get together here. No, it doesn't look like it. Very inconclusive as to what happened to Brad Cathcart here, but let me see. One more. We'll try one more here. Let's see if we can't click on Brad.
So I believe that's Jason Grider there. Might have seen Cathcart in the wall already right there, and I think the second one was the one we caught the first time, I believe he caught the wall coming out of 1 and just broke something in that steering on the right front and just couldn't get it off the wall beyond that, and that's going to be a quick tow back to the pits. And that may be race done for Cathcart as he's still sitting there 3 minutes later. So we will keep back to the front here. Schramm, Moran, Borowski, your top 3. They've pulled a 3-second gap over Braun and Lasky, as those guys are still there fighting for the top 5. Jason Green 3 seconds back, Soto another 7 seconds beyond that. So it is truly becoming a 3-horse race up here at the front. Looks like those are going to be our top 3 finishers, unless something happens, which is very possible here at this track, as those guys are still doing battle there. And now we've got the battle between Soto and Marzucchi, as they've kind of pulled a gap on Rich Meesters. So Rich Meesters has dropped off this about 2 seconds or so. Is still running in P9. He is right there getting closed down by Joaquin Osbeck and Josh Justice. Once again, those aren't class battles, but every position matters here, as we're going to look here between Schramm and Moran. Oh, very close there. That is cheeky by Moran, and I don't know how the stewards are going to feel about that, but that has pulled him up into P1, heading down into the chicane. So we'll see if anything comes of that, as I'm sure that the admins are watching, and that will be how much are they going to let people get away with that. So that's the first instance we saw of somebody kind of flirting with that blue line there on the NASCAR section. As we go here, 5 minutes left in this race, so we're going to be 3 to go, I believe, at the line, as Moran's still leading. It's still down on the bottom of the track there, as he is just absolutely flirting with disaster, in my opinion, as he is in charge here, leading over Schramm. Borowski running in third. That gap still about 3 seconds back to P4, closing a little bit. So interesting to see there, as Braun has closed it down once again. Moran down toward the bottom, and we'll see what happens here as we go, and we'll see. It's it seems like he's just flirting with it ever so much more every time. So once again, it's very cruel there, as we got some lap traffic in front. That's Wayne Buttermore and another car. Couldn't quite see who that was, but that is Wayne Buttermore's car. I'm not sure who was in the Gulf colors there, but you see Buttermore working his way through, and now Moran squeezing on the inside there, trying to get through, as Buttermore backs off and lets the top 3 work their way through and gets through. That might have been Nick Tullo in the 981. That was who Buttermore was fighting with there in the Gulf liveried car, as they still got more lap traffic there. You see Dirk Braun now and Lasky get separated just a little bit there, as Lasky took the wrong line, coming out of 4 into 5, gets moved around a little bit, gets hung up a little bit there behind the 981 car, as these finally get back together, and I think Lasky will close that gap down just fine. Shouldn't be that big of an issue there, as get a little more of that liquid sunshine out there, I'm hearing, as we are on board here now. We've got Osbeck, we've got Josh Justice, we've got the 964 Rich Meesters. This is the battle for P9 as we go here. Also Tom Gradwell in this group as well. Jim Brewster, Phil Berry is in as well. So a pretty big 6-car group here, as you see them running there down through the back stretch, as we come down here into the chicane once again. It looks like that was a pretty good run there by Osbeck. Justice unable to really do anything with that, but those gaps are still pretty tight there. Back up at the front, we've got Moran over Schramm. Schramm taking quite a bit of curve there on the inside of turn 1. Because the run here looks to the inside there in 3, unable to do anything with that just yet. He's going to hang back, come through 4. See how that run looks. Not really much doing there. Borowski still content to stay in third for the time being, as we are at our 28-minute mark. So I believe we're going to be white flag next time, Josh. As very close there, as Schramm looks kind of an interior line, unable to get that. Looks like Moran did a good job of cutting that off, and now Moran a little wide there, as Schramm is now looking to get a good run.
Yeah, looking to get a good run there. Moran gonna tickle that bottom line again, not particularly liking seeing that. I'm sure looking in the chat here as well, and the admins are watching it. There is something we like to call spirit of the rules as well, and that, in my opinion, is not spirit of the rules at all. There goes Nathaniel Schramm up the inside, though. He's going to turn the screws on him a little bit, try to loosen him up. Not going to work this time through the chicane. Usually going to end up losing time through there. He's going to hit that bottom line again there. So Stewart's definitely watching that. I think technically he's allowed to straddle it, but personally, I just don't like to see it. Everybody else isn't doing it. Why would you do it too? But Moran's gonna do it, so we'll see how the admins look at that one afterwards. I think he's probably technically okay with that one. The 26 though behind, gonna have a look now on the final lap. He is gonna start fighting from the outside here into T1. Not exactly how you're gonna get a pass done necessarily around here, but it is a good way to intimidate somebody into a move. That 29 car is pushing that front end a little bit with that gap in the panels in the front, so he's not going to have quite as much aero as the rest of these cars here. Maybe doesn't want to be leading, to be honest, in the front. I'm surprised he's not allowing Schramm by here. It should be a fairly easy draft, you would think, at the end, but Borowski not going to let this one just happen either.
No, absolutely not. As we are on our white flag lap, last lap in the race, and you see the battle has heated up. You saw Schramm there trying to make a move around Moran, unable to get that move done. Now Borowski's looking as well, and here we come out of the hairpin, down the NASCAR section, and once again down below the almost below the blue line. He has still got 2 tires above it. I see Schramm now flirting with it as well, as he has realized that he's got to cut as much as he can here. Borowski still looking as well as we work our way down. Moran taking that inside defensive line, going down into the first chicane, as able to cut the run off of Schramm as they work coming out of the chicane. Once again, Moran staying down at the bottom, Schramm hanging on, looking for a move here as we are in the late stages of this lap. And is there going to be anything done here between Moran and Schramm? And it doesn't appear like it. Here's a late, we're going to get a late lunge. We are not. So Moran is going to take it. We've got a car off. That's Ellis there in the 628 as he is going to get through, and it is going to be Andrew Moran just ahead of Nate Schramm, just ahead of Adrian Borowski, 0.2 of a second, separating all 3 of those cars at the finish line, as Dirk Braun is going to take
Justice.
Lasky. Oh, Justice and Osbeck there through the chicane, and Osbeck is going to hang on to P9. It is going to be Justice in 10th, Meesters in 11th, Gradwell in 12th, Brewster 13th. Phil Berry, our race sponsor, finishes in 14th, but as you can see, very tight battles there in the late stages. Tolo comes back to finish 15th, just ahead of Kurt Nunez, Wubker, Andrew Love, and then you'll see Jason Grider here in just a moment. But, man, fantastic finish to that race, and really well played by Andrew Moran. Took the law to the limit and was able to hang on and get the race victory.
Yeah, absolutely. Those small little margins you can find around the track are going to help you for sure. It's actually shortening the track slightly by hanging those wheels down on the bottom. You're actually making the track just a tiny little bit shorter, which is going to allow you to probably get a bit of an advantage there. So he was able to pull that out. Obviously, admin's having a look at that, but not really sure. He did go 4 under the line. I think that's the rule, so he probably stayed within it there. We shall see, though. Good racing nonetheless, though, right down to the very end there. That group of 3 cars fighting each other pretty much the whole race there. A little bit of shuffling back and forth. Adrian Borowski losing that lead and ending up in 3rd, but still on the podium. Rich Meesters will be our Masters winner today, and Johan Osbeck holding it together there. Looks like Joshua Justice just trying to get him at the end. Wasn't quite able to do it, though, so pretty good racing. Throughout the entire field there for sure, and a little bit of attrition, but I'd say that went pretty well.
I would agree, and that was, just to clarify, that was James Pepper in the 628 that spun just before the leaders came across the start-finish line. But here we go to see Wayne Buttermore coming around. Everybody has finished that's on the track, so our race is over here, and Andrew Moran is your race winner over Nate Schramm and Adrian Borowski. So great battle there once again. Very, very tight, 0.2 of a second between Moran and Schramm. We'll get the official gap here when we get our race results, and then another 0.1 of a second between Schramm and Borowski. So they made it very close there at the end, as you see that Borowski maybe waited just a little bit later. Might have, had he, coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? So if he goes in and battles Schramm, maybe they both lose Moran and they're battling for second place. So probably the right call to at least be there at the end. As are we going to get some shenanigans here? Or so. We already got some shenanigans going, so we'll see. I think a lot of those guys kind of just parked it there in the turn 1 wall. Oh, as we get a little drift there by Borowski coming out of the hairpin. So very nice little pirouette there by the 13 car. So let's bring up our race results here, Josh, and see what the official results are here as we have completed our Roval race here at Charlotte in the MX5s. Round 8 is done, and only thing left to do is to give you the final results. Andrew Moran, your race winner, 0.189, the gap to Nate Schramm. who finishes in second. Borowski in third. The gap, total gap of 2.268. So about 800s there between himself and Nate Schramm. Dirk Braun will finish in fourth. Kane Lasky fifth. Jason Green sixth. Angel Soto seventh. Eighth is Guido Marzuki. Joaquin Osbeck wins the Spec 2 class, finishing in ninth. Josh Justice rounds out your top 10. Rich Meesters gets the Masters victory over Tom Gradwell, who finishes in second and P12. Jim Brewster, there's your Masters podium, finishing in third and 13th. Phil Berry, P2 in Spec 2, so congrats, Phil, to our race sponsor. Tortello finishes in 15th. Kurt Nunez in 16th. 17th is Jeff Wubker. 18th is Andrew Love, and we're still waiting on our third finisher there in Spec 2 as we scroll the graphic. And there we go, and it is going to be Jason Grider in 19th, final position on the podium in Spec 2. Steve Pepper finishing in 20th, Steve Saunders in 21st, Adam Bradshaw finishes in 22nd, Paul Cordeshi 23rd, James Pepper finishes in 24th, Nick Tullo in 25th, Wayne Buttermore 26th, James Ellis 27th. Good pace early, ran into trouble later. 28th is going to be Paul Jackson. Brad Cathcart finishing in 29th. Jason Chin finishes in P30, and Stevie Ray is 31st. Obviously, we saw the incident between him and the other car early in that race, and that was early exit for Stevie, which is probably a good thing because I'm sure he had admin duties to take care of. So we've got some guys in the chat. Josh, I'm going to let you have our race winner, and we'll let you have a chat with him and bring in Andrew Moran.
Right. Let's grab him here and bring him down. Andrew, that was a pretty great race here around Charlotte, doing a lot of drafting there for a bit, and then finally broke out to the lead, using that line, tickling that bottom line there. The rule, don't think you got all four over, and you're probably going to be okay though. So great win in the 29 today.
Yeah, a little sketchy there. Yeah, definitely towing the rules, but yeah, it was good. And officials this week also at Charlotte were terrible. It's the people racing around here. It's, murderers. So
yep,
this was a lot better, a lot of fun. I had damage. I hit the wall, so it was tough to keep him behind. But hopefully no penalties post race. So I think it was clean.
Yeah, I think we were looking at her pretty close there during the broadcast, and it looks like you kept it fairly copacetic there. I don't think you ever really did go 4 under. Obviously, they will be scrutinizing that, but I think you're going to be okay. This track, not an easy one. There's definitely some pitfalls around here. There's a knack or two to it. What would you say is sort of the trick to Charlotte around here? What are you avoiding, and what are you looking for?
The chicane and making sure you get a good exit, and then also the last turn, which I don't think I ever mastered this week. The last turn the exit is really hard to get right because you have to cut that chicane. You have to cut the first one really hard, and it's really over track limits, but it doesn't count. So, but that last turn, getting a good exit is super important in terms of lap time, and then the chicane. Prior to that, before that last oval bit, you gotta bounce over the curb twice, and that if you do it just wrong, you're gonna bounce and hit the wall or spin out, and especially in the Miata, it's really, really hard. I don't like this track at all. It's maybe the worst track on iRacing, but it can be a lot of fun though. Just because it's the worst track doesn't mean it's not fun, but it's it's still fun.
Yeah, I like that, actually. That is a good way to look at it, Andrew. I'm kind of the same way. Not, there are bad tracks out there, but I generally have fun on them. Some of the wacky layouts can actually be a little bit fun, especially when you're just used to the same tracks over and over again. It's nice to get a bit of an outlier like Charlotte or Mid-Ohio or something like that out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, some great racing today. Next week, I believe we're in the SRFs around Oran Park. Will you be joining us for that one?
Yeah, I will. SRF, don't really like it. It's really not great. I drive FF in real life, and the SRFs are basically the new version of that in a way, because they've got the field size, so they've taken away from the FF field. But and iRacing, they like to just oversteer constantly. So at Oran Park, that it's a good track, but car not so much. So I'll be there though.
Be an interesting combo for sure. Well, great race win today, Andrew. We'll let you leave here with some thanks, and we'll let you go.
Thanks to Almeida Racing Academy. If you guys need coaching, check them out. Obviously, I'm first place, so you can be this good too.
It seems to be working out for you in the 29 for sure. So thanks to the Academy in there as well. We get lots of you guys out here. Love to see that crossover and have you guys here at the Ray Esports Summer Series and going on to our other series here into next season. So thanks for coming along, Andrew, and great win today, man. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks, man. Take care.
You too. Right on. And that was Andrew Moran. I think we have a couple more drivers up there, Charles. Who would you like to see next? Oh, you know what? I think we may have actually lost Charles to the thunderstorm here, so maybe I will bring down. You know what? Let's have a talk with Kane Lasky. You know what? I don't even remember where exactly Kane Lasky ended up finishing out, but man, that was a bit of a tough race out there for you, Kane. Maybe you can tell us how it went and where you finished.
Oh, I finished where I started, in 5th place, and was pretty good. Haven't been driving much, so just at the last minute was fooling around, and I couldn't really get the corner that heads out onto the banking, the tight left-hander. I was really weak in that corner, and that ended up costing me pretty much any chance of passing anybody, and we lost the draft early on. But it was a fun race because this car, my buddy has a Mazda Miata, and he lets me go autocrossing with him, and it is a really hard car to keep on the grip, and it's not that hard to keep control of the car when you get it off the grip, but the car doesn't have a lot of power, so if you get it too sideways, you lose the drive. So the car is like, you want to drive it right onto the edge of the grip, but not over the grip. And yeah, I had a pretty good race, a good drive. I didn't overheat the tires, and made one pass on Dirk right the second to the last lap, but we were side by side, and then he had the inside for the next corner, and he had a really good drive going on to that back straight, so that was the end for me. But I was happy to finish because like 3 of the other races that I was in, somebody hit me and took me out, so it was just nice to get a finish and race with the boys for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It did look like fun out there and a bit of a knife fight at times as well. Definitely draft playing a role today for sure. Guys out front there really working together. Going to be hard to catch when you're behind that and racing with anybody else for sure. But next week we are off to, I believe, Oran Park in the SRS. Will you be joining us for that one, Kane?
Yeah, if I can. You need to get some practice. That track is super, super slippery. It seems like it's the most slippery track on iRacing. Very easy to lose control, even though it's kind of slow speed.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be an interesting one there for sure. I'm sure we'll have a big field of drivers as well. But good racing. Good to see you out there again for sure. Kane, anybody you'd like to thank here before we let you go?
Yeah, just you guys for putting on the league. It's super fun, and check out the broadcast today. So thanks for all the guys who show up, and thanks Stevie for putting it together, and thanks for you guys for doing the broadcast every week. Hope you have a great week.
Awesome, man. You too, Kane. Good to talk to you, buddy. Have a good race, and we'll check you next week, man. Have a good week.
Hey, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that was Kane Lasky from 5th place. So now I believe we have a couple more drivers here. I think we'll pull in Nathaniel Schramm here for a quick chat. Nathaniel, bit of a tough one out there for sure. You guys up front kind of held the whole show there up front, at least. Hard to catch up to you guys, working together really well to stay away from that other pack, but unable to get Andrew Moran right at the end there. Maybe you can walk us through it a bit.
Well, I'm happy I was here. I made it in. I got my power and internet back with 13 minutes of qualifying remaining, so I was able to just sneak in and make the session. But yeah, no, Andrew was incredibly quick, and I'm looking at the replay here. He was spot on perfect with the blue line markings and everything, just maximizing the track. So I think that's really where he had the edge today. But it was super, super fun fight.
Awesome. Yeah, it's an easy track around here for sure, and it definitely splits the community as to whether they actually enjoy it or not. But there's a lot of pitfalls, a lot of curbs, a lot of kind of funny little funky parts of this track for sure, and you guys seem to navigate it quite well. Next week, we're off to Oran Park in the SRF, so will you be joining us for that one?
Hopefully, yeah. As long as the power and internet hold, we're good. Yeah, and I think it's the.
I think Charles was having the same problem. He's back though. He's back. I hear you there. Charles also just got zapped, so he's back now too. Yeah, right on though. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a short layout at Oran, so I think that's going to be something that's not familiar for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I drove it in
right.
the, I think it was like the USF 4,000 or 2,000, whatever it is, to practice, and it was like a 40-second lap. So that's going to be a very different experience to what we had here today. So, yeah, so even with the pit stop and everything. So,
yeah,
totally.
absolutely, for sure. Well, before we let you go here, Nathaniel, is anybody you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank you guys as always for doing the broadcast. I'd like to thank the chat. I see they're quite active today, so that's always good to see. I'd like to thank the league for putting this on. I'd like to thank my team, Three Oceans Racing, and our sponsors, Turner Machine Development and Gager & Sons Power Systems. Yeah, very happy with today.
Excellent, Nathaniel. Always great to see you and the Schrammers out there for sure. I do have to apologize. Can't get the driver names up today for some reason. I think some sort of SDK issue, but this is Nathaniel Schramm we are speaking to. He did get second place today. Some good racing out there for sure, and we will catch you next week at Oran Park. Nathaniel, good to have you, and have a great week.
See you then. Have a good one.
You too. Right on, Charles. I think I'll leave you with the last... Oh, I just decided to jump out of the booth there. Sorry about that. We'll leave you with the last interview here, Charles. I'm going to take a quick pit stop myself, so take your time here. I'll pull Rich Meesters down. You can have a chat.
Yep. All right, we'll bring Rich in here, our Masters class winner. Rich, a good race today, just finishing inside the top 10, but you had yourself a little hornet's nest there in the back half of the top 10. You had some different classes running with you. You had Soto and Marzuki. Justice was in there as well, and so made for some really good battles out there on the track today.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was cruising along, I guess, with Guido and Angel, and then had a couple of little mental mistakes and cost myself some positions, but it was tight at the end. I definitely had to lift a little bit to avoid JJ going into the last chicane, and Tom almost nipped me at the line.
Yeah, absolutely. As it was one of those races that we had a little bit of attrition, but I think once the field kind of spread out a little bit, the racing was really good. Obviously, we talk about these MX5s, the draft always kind of comes into play. We did see that. We did see some bump drafting, but still a lot of side-by-side racing, and I think that's what makes the MX5 so much fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. It was a lot of just, once you settled into a group and settled into the draft, there was very little point in trying to be first in the draft pack if you weren't fast enough, because you were just going to give it back up anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So next week, just heard from Nate Schramm. Next week, Oran Park in the SRFs. Obviously, you're kind of one of the staples there in the spec racer, but the short layout. So going to be probably some sub 1 minute laps getting thrown down, and that's going to make for some interesting racing next week.
Yeah, for sure. And I think if we have a big field, it's going to make for some really interesting open qualifying as well. Yeah, I don't know that I've raced the SRF on that short track version, so I'm definitely going to have to get a little practice in before next Sunday.
All right, Rich. We're going to let you go because in the event that I lose power again here, but thanks for stopping in. Congratulations on the Masters class victory. I think you stretched out your lead a little bit there to the guys that were chasing you, and so we'll let you give some thanks and shout outs before we let you go.
Awesome. Yeah, every little bit helps, I think. And, thanks again to you guys for doing this, and Stevie for putting the summer event on. It's been a ton of fun. And to my cool camel crew, which seems to be growing in these races. So it's good to see a bunch more out for this
right
weekend.
On.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Rich, thank you very much. We will see you next week at Oran Park. Have a good week.
Yeah, you too.
Right. That was Rich Meesters, our Masters class winner. And Josh, I think that's going to be it as we're coming up on it. The lightning seems to be growing just a little bit more here.
Oh boy.
So I think I'm going to have to batten down the hatches and get the computer turned off. As this is obviously part of my income is being able to jump on this PC and do broadcasts like this. But great race today. Again, love having the MX5s as part of the summer series, and Oran Park on the short layout next week in the SRFs should be, especially with 30 plus cars, should be quite fun.
Yeah, absolutely, Charles. I can wrap up the show here. If you need to bounce there, we'll go over some upcoming shows, and we'll move on to our next thing here. So next week, American Muscle Series at Portland. My return to the American Muscle Series, hopefully on track there. Not still learning that car. What a difficult car that FR500 is to drive, and I am finding out the hard way just how difficult it really is to drive. That's going to be a good one down at Portland. Summit Point for the F4 Fixed Series. That's going to be a knife fight, let me tell you. The Summit Point, everybody knows that track really well. The F4 guys are speedy and fast, and they are racing hard these days. Going to be a great one there. Portimao, Algarve there for the F3s as well. Going to be a great one on Wednesday, August 12th. And then we return to the Rick Mortec GT3 Challenge at Sebring. Some serious hot shoes in GT3s. Do not miss that one. One of our, it's an absolutely amazing show there that we'll be putting on for Sebring. And then, of course, we're back. Oran Park, we've been speaking about here in Race Esports, and then we rack the whole thing again for next week. All kinds of stuff coming up to Slow Motion Broadcasting in the coming months. GTP, the Grand Prix Tour, will be coming back. Sim Night Racing will be coming back, as well as, of course, our V Runoffs 50th anniversary or 50th version of the V Runoffs coming up on week 13 here. Keep your ear and eyes tuned to Slow Motion Broadcasting. We definitely have a pretty cool event coming your way for that one, and lots more details coming your way as well. But as for me and Charles Boshell here on Slow Motion Broadcasting from Charlotte, we'll wrap it up with the Weekend Warriors Summer Series here, and we will see you next week at Oran Park. Have a good one.